when this was happening, I'm like, wait a second. I'm sitting there with my wife. I'm like, babe, these children were at a Christian camp. How, like, I can't even put into words the things that I was thinking. I'm like, but the overall theme was how, why, like, really, like, innocent children. And this is the twist of fate. Like this, it really brings to light the fact that we don't have any control. Like we don't have control, and that's a complete freak accident. We have more odds of something happening every time we get in our vehicles and hit that push to start and driving down the road, especially in Texas. The road system scares the hell out of me. But I mean, think about that. I mean, it just, there's so much emotion surrounding this. And the other thing that I think, and this is something that you may be able to speak to because you've kind of already alluded to it, is your daughters understanding their own mortality that young.
Yeah, that was profound to me, hearing them ask those questions and also make that same kind of connection that I had, that if one thing had been different, you apply to go to Mystic basically when your girls are born. It's this weird summer camp, amazing, hard to explain rite of passage, huge in Texas, right? It's an honor to go. I have been excited for years for my girls to go. Like, it's joyful to me. And all the bad things that I think about with the world, someone coming into camp and hurting these girls, people abusing girls. Those are the things I worried about when I dropped them off and they'd be homesick. This wasn't, and it truly, like you said, it brings the fragility of our lives, and thinking that every single one of those parents went to bed on July 3rd. They didn't think about that, not even for a second. This wasn't on our radar or bingo cards. That wasn't. And we have so little control over those things, even in an environment that should be perfect and sacred and sweet, sweet, innocent kiddos. It made life a lot more real than I'm used to seeing. And I'm a divorce lawyer, so I see a lot of unhappiness every day. This was entirely different than the stuff I deal with and see.
No, that's the thing. It's like, when you look at all that, the things that you don't even think are going to ever be an issue because it's not on your radar. Sometimes that is what you're dealt with, right? Like, and you're talking about, people coming in and hurting kids, whether it's a camp advisor or I mean, gosh, like even someone just bum rushing the camp and, with guns, like those are things that you can kind of be like, okay, I can honestly see that happening given the world that we live in. But a flash flood taking out these cabins, taking out roads and ending lives, like unbelievable.
This is a camp that has been in that same spot for 100 years next year. I mean, it wasn't built yesterday. Generations of girls have been going. And I think of all the bad things, like every parent does, all of the what ifs. That never crossed my mind at all. And you can't prepare. And I just think about these parents again who went to bed the night before excited to see 4th of July pictures of their girls. And they didn't. And it guts you. And the why just doesn't make sense yet.
I don't think it ever will. Like to your point, the why, I don't think we'll ever be able to make sense of this ever, until that day where we go up to those pearly gates and then, he's like, hey, this is why I needed them, right? This is why this is what happened. And I firmly believe that, in another life, parents and they're going to get the explanation that obviously it's not going to help now. And people might think I'm a whack job for even saying that, but if you're a person of faith, then you have to understand that we're not going to always know. It doesn't make it easier. Oh my gosh, no, it doesn't make it easy for a parent to sit there and say, one day, Christ will let me know. Like this is why this happened. But in this life, you're left without your child. And for me, that is my biggest fear. I have two fears in life, Aimee. One is losing one of my children. Okay. The second one, of course, I'm afraid of losing my wife early, right? But the other one is leaving this world too soon and it impacting my children to a point where it ruins their life. Those things scare me.
Those are the big ones because everyone says it makes sense. We go before our kids, and even more so little kids. 8-year-old babies away from home. I think the anger, it's okay to have the anger right now. It's okay to have the lament. But I see in my own kids talking to them, asking them, how do you feel about going back? And without hesitation saying, I can't wait to go back. I love Camp Mystic. And the director, Dick Eastland, died also in the floods, who'd been running this place for 51 years and is beloved by these girls. And that ripped my girls up as much as their classmates because that man loved the camp and died trying to save these girls. And to have all of these little girls being, I guess, stronger than we are as parents. And again, kind of what I talk to my girls about, and talking to myself in my own head, we have to live with faith and not fear. I've got to let you go back next summer or whenever we can and trust that God hopefully is going to let you come home, but it's all part of the plan. And I've got to trust that, or else we just live locked in our little bubble wrap. And I love seeing that my kids don't want to do that. It's a helpful guide for me as a parent, and I think for other parents in the same place, realizing we've got to be strong for them.
You made a very interesting point. Okay. And I'm not surprised by your daughters wanting to go back. What I admire most is your faith over fear that you and your husband are the approach that you're taking, right? Because it's one thing to say it, but I think that, and I know this is something that my wife and I operate in, and I'm learning a lot from you is you got to have faith that they're coming home, and they need to be able to go out and be kids and enjoy these experiences and not allow this tragedy to impact the rest of how they live their life. That's also a very difficult thing, right? I mean, because there's logic and then there's the irrational part of you is like, you're never leaving the house again. Like, yeah. I'm sorry. It's just kind of the way it is.